Erica Michelle, and thank you for joining me here on my channel and on my page at Erica Michelle Construction and Interiors. I'm super excited to launch this for you guys. I've had so many friends and family over the years that tell me that my projects were nice and they're really good and maybe I should start a business. And I'm like, well, what would that business look like? So I really don't know. I'm just here to share with you the things that I like and that I'm passionate about and the things that I try and that they actually work. And so I'm like, I read videos, I follow other people, and then I say, okay, I think I can do that. So if I can do it, so can you. So today what we're going to do is pretty much show you how to install this amazing, beautiful brick veneer, okay? So brick veneer, what that means, is a very thin brick that you can use on an interior surface in your home or on any project that you choose, okay? And so what we're going to do today is show you the product, the line that I use, and I'm actually going to show you how to make these neat and beautiful grout lines. Hi guys. As I told you, I'm going to show you the product on how we achieve that beautiful brick layout in the products that we actually use. Well, actually, I picked this particular collection from the American Collection Face and Brick by Z Brick. The color that I chose was silver because it matched my countertop and it just fits perfectly for my design. So this box actually comes in a pack of 20. So in here, you will actually find 4 rows with 5 in each row. And on each row, there's going to have a different color and a different design, shape, and layout. So some of them are going to be larger than the others. Some of them are going to have a different color shading than the others. So I tell you to go through your box, lay out your tile, your brick, and then see what you actually want to achieve your finished product to look like. Now I'll give you a little secret here. I kind of learned this the hard way myself. On one side of the brick is really smooth and the other side is rugged. So when you get to your layout, in order to have that nice uniform look across your brick, you want to make sure that your smooth sides are across the top. That way you can get a nice even line, okay? As you can see, some of them are going to be larger in width than the others. So go through your product and make sure your layout is the way you need it to avoid any offsets, okay? So that's enough about that. I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty much understand that, okay? So we're going to just go through some things that you're going to need, and I'm going to walk you back through kind of how we got there, okay? So you're going to need a wet saw. Now, if you have a large one, if you have family, friends, or someone that happens to just have this large wet saw around and you're not comfortable, because that could be pretty daunting and it needs to be handled with great care because this is a blade. It will cut your hand open. So you need to be very, very careful with this. Now, I picked this little small one because my project here is small, okay? I have larger saws, but this one is actually needed just for this one. You will not do this in the inside of your home. I just put this here for just to show you guys. You will do this outside because it's going to be very dusty. There's going to have dust everywhere. So you don't want to do this in the inside of your home, okay? So on this side of this particular wet saw, this is a wet saw. You put water in this well because that's going to stop the brick from overheating and breaking and just getting hot and not giving you that cut that you're looking for, okay? So you're going to need a wet saw, okay? Now, this is called grout. This is grout. Grout goes in these lines, in this hole. This is grout. This is for filling this space, okay? To give you that nice brick look. You'll see that in all your tile products, okay, projects. So what you want to do is either you can find a grout that is actually in the bag that just comes like some sand and you actually mix it with water and you'll have to mix it up and go through all that whole tedious process. But if you're like myself, if you like things that's already put together to save you time and a little bit of money so that you can move on to some other fun projects, because there's a lot that's going on up in here that you want to get to, then I would go with this product right here. There are products that are pre-mixed. Now this one particular that I've used today is the Mapi Flex Color CQ. CQ means color coated quartz. Inside of this mixture is actual fine quartz, okay? That actually helps the grout stick together and avoid shrinkage, and will actually help you if you're using a large space grout wells, holes, voids. Okay, so on the side of your container or any bag that you're using, based on the size that you're looking for to create your grout holes, you're going to actually be able to determine how much of this container or any other substance that you buy that you're going to need to purchase based on that. All those metrics are here on the side. Pretty self-explanatory. Not going to pretty much go through that. But if you need to really kind of figure it out, you can inbox me and I'll try to help you based on what you're trying to do to walk you through that. Okay? So, in order to get through this, you're going to need one of these. That's going to help you scoop it out. Okay? So, I've already pre-filled my bag a little earlier on what I was doing, but I'm going to fill it up a little bit more because I'm a little empty. I suggest that you use gloves for that. But we're going to get back to that here in a minute. I want to first talk about getting here because I know some people are going to say, okay, Erica, that's cool, that's amazing, but how do we actually get there? How did you get to this part here? Right. Even though I can do a whole nother video on that, and I may, if someone really needs to see a little bit more instruction on how to actually get here. But what we did, I actually took my measurement off this wall to see how much of my brick I was going to need. After I came out with my layout, I knew that one of my brick was actually 8 inches, and I went through the metrics and I said, okay, and as you see, a brick layout is going to be one brick, and then another brick's going to actually, 2 bricks are going to split that one brick to get you that brick layout. So I knew once my layout was there, I was going to need 4 inches, 4 inches, and then a little bit I kind of up to like 3-8 inches based on some offsets because of my plug here. But you'll go through your design and you'll figure it out. Please, I will instruct you if you could just take a large piece of paper, old piece of cardboard, and you can actually draw out and measure out your whole layout. That would be the best thing for you. That way you won't just have some off-center cuts and your product would actually look more uniform, okay? So please do that. So to get here, we measured it out. We used our wet saw outside and we came up with our cuts and we had everything laid out. So then it was time to actually put them on the wall. So how are we going to do that? In order to get here, what we're going to do, I actually knew that I wanted to use 3/8 as a fraction of a size of a grout hole, a grout line, okay? So you can actually buy these towel spacers, which this one is the same. It's 3/8, okay? But I didn't find that they actually stay in there and stay in place where I needed them. So what I did, seeing as someone else did this, and I said, well, I'm going to do that. These sticks actually come a little longer. You get them as long as you need. So I just decided how many, based on my layout, I was going to need. I cut that amount in that amount, and then I measured it here and said, okay, that's going to fit. So I did that. So actually, you're going to always start at the bottom. Now, I wanted mine to actually be lifted off my counter the way I wanted it. So I started here and had it, put it under here, and the next one would have went here, okay? So then, at that time, before I laid this one, before I laid this one actually, I put this here. So this allowed me to have those spaces there, okay? So what you do in order to get there, you're going to actually use, now you can actually use mortar or mastic to actually stick your bricks onto your wall. Mastic would actually kind of be better because it'll kind of grab it, especially when you're doing a horizontal layout. It will actually not have that sliding down to help you. But these dowels actually help me achieve the same thing based on this product that I'm using. So I'm going to use the Rapid Set Self-Leveling Sealant. I like this. It was my first time actually using this product, but I really, really loved it because it actually is self-leveling. And as you can see on the back of our bricks, they have voids and spaces in there. So it actually fills that in and creates that level look. And that way you're not constantly going down wondering if you have one brick sticking out further than the other and actually not going to have a really nice look. Okay, so I actually use this. So what I did was I loaded it up in my caulk gun. You're going to need one of these. And I actually just took it and I went in an S motion all the way down here. When I got here, I went all the way back around, just like in that motion, okay? Then I had a nice coating on here. So then I started and I placed one, right? And then I would have had my spacer and I put that here. And I did the same process over based on what my layout called for. Okay, so that's how you get there to that level, okay? So once you have that, I would say give yourself a day to allow that to happen. Then you want to go and you're going to find something called a sealant. Now, in this case, I'm using a white color-coded quartz grout. So I want an overshadow and an overcast on my on my tile, on my brick, so I'm okay with that. But let's say I wanted to use our dark grout. So I don't want to actually not seal my bricks before I start my grout process, because a brick is a porous material, meaning that it's kind of like concrete. It'll just draw in water or to draw in color. So if you seal it and put a sealant on here before you actually go ahead and start your grouting, then your bricks will not take on that color definition, okay? So in my case, I wanted to take on that color definition, so I'm not gonna too much go ahead and seal it here. This is just my feature wall that I'm having in my kitchen. Over on this side of the kitchen is actually where I prepare my meals. So I did pre-seal it, the bricks here, and then I went ahead and did the grout, and then I'm going to go back again and I'm going to seal these bricks again. Now this product actually calls for the grout lines themselves to not be sealed, and that's okay, but I'm just that girl who believes more can only be better. I know that I like my red wines and I like spaghetti. Well, should I say my daughter loves spaghetti? And if we're having spaghetti and we're cooking and they're splashing, then you may risk that part of staining. Even though the product they guarantee that you don't need to go back and seal it, I'm still going to go back and seal mine anyway. Just out of precaution, because I put a lot of time, energy, and money into this project. So I'm going to do that, okay? So when you get this product open, you're actually going to have this sponge that comes in it. I personally do not like this sponge. I just don't, because I'm used to working with the other sponge. Nothing really against it. I just personally, it's a personal preference that I don't like. But I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. Okay? It's not that I have any apprehensions against it. It's just that when I found that when I put it in here and I squeeze it, I'm getting all this foam. Now, it's okay because I'm going to be using that, but I just feel like it's just introducing water and air and gases and things, and it just makes me feel uncomfortable. So I'm just not using it. So I'm actually going to use the traditional sponge here. Now, I recommend you have a couple of these on hand, because as you go through your project and as you go through your grout lines, and as we're going to get to that demonstration, you'll see they're going to get rugged and old over a period of time, and you're going to need to change them out. So here, I took one sponge and I cut a corner off it so I can do my small detailing work, and that's what I would do, okay? So I'm just using some regular gloves here. I do have another pair of gloves here that I use that I like as well, but because I'm working here with water, I will just get something that, is just not going to get wet, okay? Having some extra sponge, some towels here, because that's going to help you with any spills or cleanups that you have that you immediately need to get up if you have any issues, okay? So let's get to this awesome part, okay? So we kind of went through a little bit of how we would get there, getting it on the wall. So let's now get to the awesome part of filling these grout lines in and making this product look uniform. This is going to come with a bag on it to just keep you from drying out, okay? So I already have a little bit filled in. So I know I've done a little row early, but I'm going to actually add a little bit more back in here so I can just kind of show you guys where I kind of would prefer to have my bag filled up at. Filled up to where you're comfortable at and what you feel you're going to work with. Try not to use more than what you feel you're going to work with, because at that time, whatever you're going to work with, you don't want to waste it. You want to keep your trowel. You want to keep it from drying out and keep it from getting all with rocks and rocky as this product will start to cure, okay? So I only use the amount that I feel I can handle and I can manipulate in my bag. So a lot of you may be familiar with this bag if you bake. This actually looks just like a pastry bag that you're going to actually pipe your cakes with. So this is a grout bag instead. You're not going to be putting ice in it. You're going to be putting grout in it, ladies. So at this point in time, I would suggest if you have a project like I have, and I have to get on top of my countertop, that I would actually use some knee pads that might protect my knees, because this granite is pretty hard. So I'm actually going to, safety first, I'm going to climb up here on top of my counter safely, right? Didn't show you earlier, but this is a rubber gum float. This is going to help us push our grout into our voids, okay, into our lines, okay? So we're going to come over to this side and we're going to go ahead and start to show, talking to you guys. I'm going to have to fix this little part because when I was talking, I wasn't cured here yet, and I kind of touched this. And I'm going to fix this right quick, and then I'll go and show you how to do a real complete line from the very beginning, okay? So let me just touch this up right quick. And then we'll get on to doing a fresh line. We'll show you guys how to do a fresh line. Let's just fix this right quick and then we'll get there. Okay, just a couple little things that I need to tidy up from earlier, and then we'll get to showing how we got here. Okay, so as I said before, I decided, and I went with a 3/8 line that I decided to do. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to start right here at the base. I'm going to apply a little bit of light pressure. I'm not going to overfill to have a big mess. Now what I'm doing, I'm going through each line. You may see some videos where someone's going to just take this and they'll put it in a bucket and they'll smear it all over everything, and they'll come back and do a whole lot of excessive wiping and a lot of waste. I believe when you're doing a brick layout, from what I've seen, that you want to use a grout bag, and you want to go through each one, and you're not actually going to lose a lot of product, and you're going to get a more uniform look. Okay, so what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go through and I'm going to be paying attention underneath here, because the surface level that I'm at, I really can't see, but I want to make sure that I'm full all the way in, and I'm going to have enough. And I'm going to come back through here with my gum flute, and I'm going to push that in and get that really nice and tight. So first I'm going to go across, and I'm going to finish off my horizontal lines, as you see that I'm doing. And this mixture on this pre-mixed stuff is very, very good. That's why I like it. It's not super runny. I didn't have to really sit there and keep playing around with it to get the right mixture, to make sure that it was going to stay in the voids, okay? So I do recommend this product. I really like it a lot. And if you want to try it. If you want to mix your own, because there's another color that you like, then you also can do that. So I personally, as you can see, I'm only going to work with one horizontal row and one vertical section of this row at a time. I'm not going to go all the way down and do all that. Then before I start going in with my gum float, I'm going to look and see. As you can see, if you start piling up on here, you're going to pull some more back out. So be careful. And as you get down here, work your bag down and go from there. Okay? Okay. So take your gum float. You get it a little damp. You don't want it super wet. And then you're just going to go up, because that's what we're going to do. Gonna go up, and then you're gonna go down. Okay, and see some areas I'm weak in, and I don't have a lot. I'm gonna show you how to get back through that. So we're gonna come here. You see where we are a little empty and we're a little weak. We're just going to fill in a little bit more. And the reason why I'm not trying to overflow is because the color part of this grout is actually going to help me have that aged, weathered, old brick look that I'm going for, right? But I don't want to have my bricks, I want to keep this gray and this blackness in it, and I don't want to have my bricks where they're just super, super white. So I'm not going to fill a whole lot, because that'll be a whole lot of cleanup and a whole lot of waste. The container, like I think I said before, if I didn't, it's like $45 a container, and you just don't want to waste that much if you don't have to, okay? So we're going to fill that in, okay? We're there, we're there, we're there. Now, what we're going to do, tell you, I try not to waste anything. It's not possible. We're going to come back with our sponge, and we're going to go and push in on that. See, we don't have that much waste, but we're pretty much uniform here on our push. I'm going to go all the way across. We're going to come down and we're going to look. And just to make sure that we don't have any gaps under here, then we're going to go upward like that. Okay. So I went vertically across first, then I went upward, and then I'm going to come and I'm going to go down. I'm going to go, because at the same time, I'm actually getting my verticals at this point. And I'm actually designing at the same time. I'm actually getting my white cast over my stone. Okay? Okay. And as you see, we got that in there. I feel them a little too white. I'm going to dry off my sponge, not drop it. And I'm going to come back through. All right? I'm going to inspect. Always inspect. Take your time, use light strokes, and you're going to inspect. Okay? And if your sponge gets old, make sure you, like I say, keep several, because over time it will get old. For this kitchen, this side and this kitchen, I've actually just used 2 of these. That's all I've used for this size of layout. Okay? And try to keep your hands from not dragging in that grout, because if you do, and try not to touch. I have a hard time sometimes of not remembering on my fingers. So, try to do that. And think about that. Conscious about that. And if you get a little naked, I call it, get back in there, work with it, push in whatever you don't have, and then come back with it. And if you want to make sure you're not doing too much fine pulling through, see, you get too excited like I do, right? And you can mess up. So, you know, no one's perfect, right? So what we gonna do? We're gonna fix it because we can. But the thing is, make sure you see what you just did. You don't want this to cure up on you tomorrow and you're like, oh my God. But even in that case, you can still go back and fix it. But once you've cleaned all this mess up and dumped all this water out and stored away all these materials, you definitely don't want to be going back through there trying to fix anything. So if you see an issue or something you can fix while you still have the stuff out, I suggest that's what you do. Go on with it. Once again, light strokes. Light strokes. So if you come across, so you're not digging into the grout, because this is raised up, so you're just going to actually pull across. If you're doing light strokes, you're not actually digging in that grout. When you did the first time and you went across, you used a little bit more pressure. But on here, you're just going to do very, very light strokes. And ladies and gentlemen, I would say that's how you DIY a brick layout and have the perfect grout lines. Why don't you try it, and please show me your pictures and posts of your projects. Thank you. Until next time, thank you for choosing Erica Michelle Construction and Interiors.